Jonathan Smith, yes, he is coming home to East Lansing, Michigan State's 26th head coach. If you can't tell already by now, I absolutely love the hire. And hey, no, it's not just me celebrating this great day for Michigan State football. We got the MSU chief of propaganda in the mix as well.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners. This episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That is $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Oh man, hope everyone is having a fantastic Thanksgiving week here. In a week where, hey, Michigan State basketball, they lose to Arizona, and then our football team loses 42-0 against Penn State. They didn't even get 100 yards of offense. Chief, I am still as happy as I could possibly be as we are talking right now because it is Jonathan Smith as your next Michigan State football head coach. Before I start rambling on and on, Chief, how on earth are we doing over there in your neck of the woods?
I'm just feeling relieved, if we're being honest. It's been it was a nightmare season. I think that might be underselling it. And the coaching search, a 3-month one, so many ups and downs, so many things going on. And then obviously the news starts to break last night. Like, hey, this is on the 5-yard line or whatever. And with our history with coaching searches and whatnot, you're always hesitant to get excited. Like, I know we're in a group chat together and everyone's like, let's just wait a little bit. Like, let's not throw the parade yet. But no, I'm relieved, and I'm just really excited for kind of Spartan Nation. We get to finally turn the page, a 3-month crusty page that has been kind of lingering there, like a black cloud for a little while.
Not
there.
great.
So no, I'm fired up.
That is such a good word to use, relieved, because, the report comes out, I think it was Adam Rittenberg earlier on this Saturday, said that, yes, Michigan State and Jonathan Smith are on the 5-yard line. It's like, oh, my God. I don't think Adam meant this. I don't think he meant anything malicious by it, but holy smokes, us State fans, we've seen a lot of things get bungled here when, there's 5 yards to go in a short yardage situation so far in the field this season. And just like you alluded to as well, the last coaching search really had some late thrills, if we want to call it that, as well. So, it was nice that it actually got done. It's finalized. He's here, Jonathan Smith. Guys, you already know that I'm a big fan of his. I've been talking up and down about Jonathan Smith. It was well known that, yes, Urban Meyer was number tier 1. And not right behind him, number tier 2, which is a really good tier, was your Mike Elkos, your Lance Leipold's, and then your Jonathan Smiths of the world. And I didn't even think he would come here, to be honest, because it takes a lot to pry a guy away from his alma mater. And yes, I understand what Oregon State is going through. And yes, that is a big reason why Jonathan Smith is coming here. But man, this is one of the biggest names, indisputably, in the coaching carousel for this upcoming offseason. And Michigan State got him before any other job could open up, really. I don't think A&M was going to go after him. But Michigan State, hey, we got him. Maybe the UCLA job opens up in a little bit. Sorry, Bruins, too late. He's already ours. So got to give credit to Alan Haller. He worked quick here at the deadline. Yes, this dragged on for weeks for us fans, but in reality, things were not going to start hitting the ground running until the last week or two of the season. Alan Haller did it. He did it quick, and he got it done before the weekend is even over. So just from that standpoint, I'm glad that Michigan State did not completely fumble this one. Like that's just nice to know that, hey, somewhere in Michigan State's like administration, everything, there is some competence sometimes. Like this was nice. So that was nice as well. What else I like about Jonathan Smith? Program builder. He overtook Oregon State in 2018, built them to a 10-win team last year, an 8-4 team this year, but they came from nothing, rubble, when he took over in 2018. And it was a slow progression throughout his time there that he built this program up. And also, I'll say this as well, former quarterback of Oregon State, that's the position he takes under his wings. Now, will it be Caden Hauser? He's going to groom into a great quarterback. Sam Levitt, Adrian Childs, a great former top 100 prospect already on the Beavers roster. Does he come over here? Who knows? But look, it's going to be nice to have a guy that can actually develop a quarterback here in East Lansing. So I know that was a lot of rambling. I left a lot of things off here, but Chief, what is your favorite part of this Jonathan Smith hire?
I'm going to go with the new staff that's going to be joining the fold here, whether it be some of the people he's bringing over from Corvallis or presumably hiring new. I think there's a couple names that have been, that have been rumored to potentially be joining him, as well as who he could be retaining. It sounds like Harlan Barnett's going to be retained. It sounds like Coach Hawkins is going to be retained, which is probably one of the more popular moves Coach Smith's going to make here, is retaining Hawkins, because obviously that leads to Marsh probably signing here in a couple weeks. But I'm excited about the offensive coordinator position. That's potentially going to be very high in demand with this new salary pool. So I think that's really the dark mark of the Tucker era. It's he had all these resources to hire this phenomenal staff. I mean, $7.5 million, and you settled for what we had. So it is unacceptable, and there are no changes ever made. We haven't had really staffing changes at Michigan State since when?
Oh God!
I mean,
like 03, it feels like. Since Charles Rogers was catching passes down the sideline of Spartan Stadium. It's been a minute since we've actually had like a serious coaching staff here with like serious money, and it has already been reported. I cannot confirm it, but it has been reported by others that this assistant pool will already be higher than the one that Mel Tucker had as well. So, like, how's that a bad thing? Like that can only be spun as a positive. So it's looking good for the staffing side of things, if not for nothing else. God, I'm excited. I'm just so excited. This is great, Brett. This is awesome, Chief.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like, obviously, the news hits today. Like, he's our guy. We have him signed on the dotted line here, and I'm sure the presser will be Monday or something. But no, it's just really exciting, because the next few days, it's not even just like, okay, we have a new coach. He's bringing in a new staff. He's bringing in new recruiters. I'm sure the graphics team's he's going to be able to kind of start to mold this thing in his own name, image, and likeness here. And I'm also excited about the portal. There's a couple guys on that Oregon State roster that would be tremendous fits in here. You alluded to a quarterback that they have there, and there's going to be a couple of really good options to pick a quarterback, and that's a good thing. Like a couple of weeks ago, we're like, hey, are we going to have anything left in the tank? Like, are both quarterbacks going to leave? And now you're thinking like, hey, which one is going to get the opportunity to be the quarterback now? Because Coach Smith's going to have his pick.
No, he is. And like, there are some interesting things that he can do with the staff. And we don't know right now, as we are recording, it's middle of the afternoon on Saturday. We don't know if or who will come over from this Beaver staff, but some good candidates. I mean, defensive coordinator Trent Bray, he's been the defensive coordinator there since 2021, but also on Smith's staff since 2018 as well. And like Smith, he is an Oregon State alum as well. Does he slide in to that head coaching role over there in Corvallis? Who knows? But I mean, that's just, the rundown right there. Someone that I have an eye on as well, and I know that Jonathan Smith is offensive-oriented, but the offensive coordinator, Brian Lindgren, also been around since 2018, 2 times Broyle Award nominee, and the Broyles Award is for top assistant in the nation. They've had back-to-back seasons where they're putting up 31-plus points per game, which, Brett, in your wildest dreams, can you even imagine those kind of numbers here in East Lansing? I almost forgot what that feels like, putting up north of 30 points per game. So that would be nice as well. And then one other coach that just stuck out to me, too, as I was perusing the staff directory, as if it was a Christmas catalog. Brian Wozniak. He's the tight ends coach and recruiting director, but also from Wisconsin. And I know that is going to be a major sticking point with a lot of fans here. And I'm not going to downplay it. Like, yes, that is a legitimate concern of like, okay, Jonathan Smith has not been here in the Midwest. How can he get recruiting done? Well, Wozniak, okay, he's a Wisconsin guy, maybe has roots here, but I'm not so worried about that because of what we already talked about. The assistant salary pool, it's going to be nice. You start waving that money in front of top coordinators and top personnel and top recruiting staffers around this area. Okay, you can get some good people in your corner. Like, you don't have to do it all. You can get some help, and that help can come from the assistant pool. So that's just one thing I just want to get in front of right now. Again, it is a legitimate concern of, hey, can he get it done in the Midwest if he's not from here? But that's your roadmap to how you do it. You are armed with a pretty good arsenal of a lot of dollars here. That is going to be very appealing here as you are building something in East Lansing. So just wanted to get ahead and say that. Chief, I got to ramble more. I'm so sorry. And I actually have to send you to the bench because right now I need to talk to people's ears off about Listening.com. Gang, college students, especially you guys, that's right, listen up, because this is an incredible app called Listening.com, which can take any academic paper, PDF, or class material and turn it into an audiobook. That's right, it can read math equations, technical words, complicated documents, and knows to skip all the citations, footnotes, references, and lets you jump straight to the chapter or section you want to listen to. It even has a one-click note-taking button. How clutch is that? Where it automatically puts the last 10 seconds into a notepad so you don't have to type notes while you listen. It's almost too good to be true. If you're like me and you are the world's slowest reader and you just like listening to things, this is perfect. If you hate taking notes, also like me, my God, doesn't this seem perfect for you if you were a college student or someone that just gets a lot of work done in the office? And best of all, this is where it gets really good, guys. If you use the link listening.com/lockedon, you'll be able to get your first 3 weeks for free. So go ahead and give it a try. Usually it's 2 weeks free, but with this link, you're going to get that extra third week for free if you go to listening.com/lockedon. Also need to talk your ear off about Team Ticker, and what better time than to start talking Team Ticker than right now for the holiday season. I'm pointing at it behind me if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, it's just like any old countdown clock that you'd see at a bar, countdown till kickoff, except they juice it up with like 58,000 steroids, baby. They have up-to-date stats, up-to-date weather reports. Right now, they're scrolling through the AP Top 25. This is great eye candy. It's a vintage look. The LED board, you get the gruff Sparty, but it's also pretty high-tech because it updates on its own. It's Team Ticker. And also, well, as cool as the sign is, you're going to enjoy this even more because, well, who doesn't like saving money? When you use promo code LOCKEDON, that's all one word, LOCKEDON, at teamticker.com, that's going to knock $50 off of your purchase for the gift for that Spartan fan in your life. Or hey, if you want to be selfish, just make it for you as well. Again, guys, that is teamticker.com. Promo code LOCKEDON for $50 off at teamticker.com. All right, let's get Odell Brettham back into the mix here, and let's talk about the staffing news that we do mostly know. It's been reported by Graham Couch that Harlan Barnett is going to stick around, and it's very heavily rumored, bordering on, confirmed and reported that receivers coach Courtney Hawkins is going to stick around too. And of course, us State fans may like hearing that because, well, in 20-some days is signing day, and there is one Nick Marsh over there at River Rouge High School that we would like here. But with those two guys coming back, we don't know under what capacity. I assume Hawkins will be wide receivers coach. Will be interesting if Barnett gets one of those 10 on-field coaching jobs or if it'll be like an analytical role or whatever. But your thoughts on retaining those two guys?
Yeah, I think Hawkins was almost a no-brainer. Just you've seen his work here with the wide receivers in the Coach Tucker era, as well as his recruiting ability and being able to identify talent. I mean, Keon Coleman was fringe 4-star when he found him, and obviously he's going to be a top 10 pick now.
Yeah.
Jaden Reed, I mean, it speaks for itself. That one's a no-brainer in my opinion. The Harlan thing, I commend the job he did as taking on really an impossible situation, and the on-field results are what they are. I personally don't think having him be a positional coach is the best idea, just based off of what the secondary's been, and he's had his fingers on that for so long, and it hasn't been up to par in a decade. So an analytical role, maybe a role in the athletics department, show your appreciation, and keep him in the fold somehow. I mean, he's a great Spartan. It just it's hard for me to really get excited about him being a positional coach.
I respect the man. I do this whole dog and pony show every time we talk about Harlan Barnett. Like I respect him. Great Spartan. He was a good leader of young men in that locker room during this very tumultuous time. But yeah, I think we've seen enough of some hands-on coaching, especially at the head coach role. Now, this isn't a big conversation, but it is a sub story here. Is that did he ever get the interview, and did he kind of get screwed here? Look, I think that 99.999% of Spartan fans understand that, no, he was not going to get this job, and no, he probably shouldn't have the job. But do you think he got screwed over by not getting an interview? Or are you like me and you think that the interview was just simply, all right, Harlan, you have a 17-point lead against Rutgers going into the fourth quarter. Can you hold on to it? And that was just the interview right there. Or for another interview question, hey, You have a true freshman quarterback that's been playing pretty good. He's not going to play more than 4 games to maintain his red shirt. How are you going to handle that situation down the stretch here? And then when he says, well, I don't know what happened, hindsight's 2020, it's like, okay, all right. I've seen and heard enough. Thank you. That we'll consider that your interview, Mr. Barnett. I don't know if you have anything to add on top of that, because again, like it was abundantly clear that he was not going to be a serious candidate one way or another. But do you just do the due diligence of giving him an interview anyway? I don't know.
No, he had a 8-9 week public interview, and it
didn't
go well.
Yeah.
So listen, I don't think him sitting down for. I mean, I'm sure Haller has a really good relationship with him, and it would almost be not a slap in the face to just give him like, hey, like, come interview. It's like they're both grown men. Everybody sees what's going on. He's not going to be the coach.
Alan's just on his phone playing Wordle during the interview. Like he's texting Jonathan Smith on the side during the interview. Like it would have been as unserious of a conversation as you ever could have asked for. So just want to leave that behind. There was one email that we got, and I'm so sorry. I did not pull this person's name up. That's on me for being a bad host right there. But they did bring up a question. If we are going to pry Jonathan Smith away from Oregon State, which we did, that has actually happened, away from Oregon State, who is without a home right now. They do not have a conference right now. Things are going really bad. They just did this $160 million renovation to their stadium, only for the rug to be pulled out beneath them. Things cannot be going worse for Oregon State fans right now. The question was, are we a villain for taking Jonathan Smith away from Oregon State? When you hear that question, do you think MSU's got a little bit of villain in them after this, or is this just taking advantage of some extraordinary circumstances? Chief, what do you got for there?
Yeah, I don't think it's intentionally being the villain.
Right.
I think ultimately, in the eyes of the beautiful people of Corvallis, it probably is like, okay, Michigan State just gave us. I mean, this is as close to a death blow for that program as possible, just based off their current situation. And listen, in an alternate reality, if Oregon State had a conference next year, if they were heading, let's say, to the Mountain West or Pac-12 were still together, I don't think this move happens. I think Jonathan Smith he's able to stay there. He's able to retain his staff and all these, but I think the opportunity presented itself, and it just happened to be one of the best candidates in America was in a situation where he almost couldn't stay. It would be almost negligent because there's no future.
Yeah. No question. I mean, sometimes you got to make a good move for yourself here. And MSU offers a lot more than Oregon State does. And I feel bad saying all this too, because like I do feel terrible for Oregon State fans. Like I'm not going to go grave dancing and saying like, that's right, suck it, we took your guy, haha. Like, no, there's the one reporter that covers Oregon State that, went off and called Michigan State a cesspool, and that Jonathan Smith would never leave here for the cesspool in East Lansing. Like, I shinied up my tap dancing shoes, and I'll tap dance on his grave. But for anyone else that's just like a fan that's watching their program just get pillaged like this and just watching everything burn down to the ground, I do feel terrible. Like, it makes me feel really bad. But guess what? This is college football, baby. Thems are the breaks. It's nasty out here. Like, this is just taking advantage of great circumstances for Michigan State. And also, if it wasn't Michigan State, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell what job is going to be open here in the next week or two, but it would have been someone else. Like if that UCLA job does open up, or if any other Pac-12 job does open up, or a Big 12 job like that, I think he would have gone elsewhere somehow. So knowing that, that's what I'm going to tell myself, to sleep a little better at night. I don't know. That's a lie. I'm not going to sleep well tonight. I'm fired up. This is very exciting. But if that was an issue that was going to keep me up at night, that's what I'll just tell myself over and over again. So I don't know. That's where I'm at with the whole villain thing. As much as it sounds cool to be the villain, I just don't think we are here in this situation. It's just a crappy situation that MSU just took advantage of. That's how I see it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's not like 2020 when we came in, when we went into Boulder in the middle of the night and we we stole their prize possession and coached up. I still think it'd been fun if we like interviewed Dion just to
sure
kind of
stoke some flames.
Yeah, and listen, this isn't a situation where it's like Colorado fans where they were saying all this crazy stuff about Michigan State and East Lansing, and we got the broke Buffs jokes off there for a couple of years, and
it was a lot of fun.
Great time. Oregon State's such a fun program to watch from the outside, just because they've been so bad and they became a really good football team under Jonathan Smith here. So yeah, it's tough for them. I don't think there's any animosity, but the game's the game. Like the portal, coaching hires, circles, all this stuff, like it's tough. And to get to where you need to go, like, and listen, I give a ton of credit to Alan Haller here. I mean, this is the most important hire he'll ever face for any. I mean, this is probably going to be a tougher hire than replacing Tom Izzo in some respects.
You can make an argument for it. So I do want to talk a little bit more about one of the concerns that people have with Jonathan Smith here in a hot second. But first, Brett, I hate to do this twice in the same show. I got to send you to the bench because I need to talk to people's ears off about FanDuel Sportsbook. Gang, right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's right. You heard me correct. If you are a new FanDuel customer, go peruse the menu of NFL games going on tomorrow. And if you really like one, don't take the points. Don't lay the points. Just take it straight up. And if that bet hits, that is $150 in bonus bets back to you. That's right. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is super easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. And hey, if you listen to our Penn State preview, you already know that, we benefited greatly from one of their bets because we may have sprinkled a few shekels on Theo Johnson, anytime touchdown scorer. So may have given a nice little fist bump in Ford Field when he scored against MSU. But hey, you know what? Do I feel bad about it? Not really, because I got paid by FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with us. It's FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Now, Chief, I think most State fans know that this is, on paper, a really good hire. And I feel like they feel like that too. But there are some concerns, of course. We brought up the lack of Midwest ties here. Valid. There's another one too that I keep hearing that it's like, oh, he's an under 500 coach. We just hired this guy who's under 500. Like, oh, it took him 5 years to build this program. I think context matters here. And I think that this is very appropriate for the situation that Michigan State is in right now. He overtook something in Corvallis that was a 1-11 season. Every year they progressed. The COVID year, they did not go over 500. We could debate all day long if that was legit or not, but whatever. Fact of the matter is they kept working their way up to, again, 10-2 last year and 8-4 this year. I know that record-wise, that's not improvement, but still a stable force in the Pac-12. And also, if you watch the Washington game, one possession away from beating them. Hey, remember when we played Washington? Remember how far away we were from beating? That's how much of a gap there is between where MSU is now and then Oregon State is. So will it take 5 years to rebuild MSU? Hopefully not. But hey, he has the blueprint to rebuild. Use the transfer portal. Also coaching tough physical football over there in Corvallis. That will translate here to East Lansing. So I know that by definition, he's below 500. He's 34-35. He's just a tick under 500. But man, I've seen this man just build a program over there in Corvallis, a place where you should not be able to do that. And that's not just me talking. No, that's also just college football talking too, as well. Them and Washington State are left homeless right now for that very reason. They don't have the resources everyone else does. They can't recruit like everyone else does. But yet, he had the Beavers playing sound football and being a gamer in the Pac-12. So that's my rebuttal on it when someone says, oh, he's below 500 or, oh, he took forever to build that program. 5 years to build something in Corvallis is actually pretty great. So that's just where I'm at right now, Brett.
Yeah, and you look at his record the past 3 years, it's I don't have the numbers in front of me, but obviously it's a substantial winning percentage there.
Yeah, he went 7-2 in 2020. Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, in 2021. All right, on the ball, Matt. There we go. 7-6 in 2021, 10-3 last year, and then 8-4 this year as well, for a grand total of 25-13, if I'm doing my quick Spartan math there correctly. But yeah, that's the last 3 years. That's not a bad stretch of 3 years there. You're right.
Yeah, and even looking at a couple losses this year, I mean, you're facing an Oregon team who I think is a 1B to Georgia right now. I mean, both of those teams are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both on another level. And then obviously Washington, like we saw what Washington did to us, and obviously the transitive property doesn't really apply to sports here, but Oregon State played them so much better with less talent. So that, to me, that that goes to coaching. It's like, okay, they had a game plan to attack that game. And I mean, they shut down their wide receivers with some freshman defensive backs. So, I mean, obviously context is going to matter here. It's not, like the guys finished one game under 500 at Oregon State. He took over probably the worst program in the Power 5 and eventually got them to a place where they're winning double-digit games. That just, it's unheard of.
And like people are going to think I'm lying when I say like, oh yeah, no, I watched him build a program, but the amount of Oregon State football that I watched like the last few years is pretty nauseating. Now, is that because I was chasing all my lost bets during the day and I had to settle for 10:30 p.m. football in Corvallis to try to win some money back? It's neither here nor there, but hey, bottom line is that I got to enjoy a lot of Beavers football, one way or another. So yeah, as they kept progressing throughout the years, I'm like, stylistically, this seems nice right now. Okay, there we go. Like this is going to be something that translates here to Big Ten play. So I'm excited. This is fun. I'm having fun. We shouldn't be this happy after losing 42-0 to end, in my opinion, the worst season of Michigan State football that we've seen in our lifetime. And I say that, we can debate this too. I mean, it's not the happiest way to end a show, but this was, I think, the worst year of Michigan State football. Yes, we were 4-8 and not 3-9 like we were in 2016. Okay, at least 2016 was competitive against the Buckeyes, somewhat competitive against Michigan. Like, we're walking into Ford Field knowing that there's a 0% chance of a win here. But hey, sunny days ahead in East Lansing. We wake up on this Saturday, and thank God they just got this done quickly, because just how we started the show to complete our circles, it's just impossible to be a Michigan State fan and not just be nervous because, man, it feels like the shoe's going to drop at any given time. So I'm just giddy over here, Chief. Just giddy.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's kind of right when this news broke as well. You see the national recruiting experts. They're reaching out to whatever we have left in our class, and all these guys, they're fired up. It sounds like these guys are locked in. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see if they can bring back like AJ Dennis into the fold and potentially flip. It's funny. I talked to a couple former staffers that were here during the Mel Tucker era, and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this this hire? They love it. They've been saying for a while now what went wrong and how to fix it, and this kind of lines up with everything. And they even sent me some clips of some of the Oregon State commits they have on, especially on the offensive line. And they're like, yeah, if you guys can flip a couple of these guys, you'll be in really good shape. So I'm fired up. It's just relieving, and I kind of figuring out like who's going to be on the staff. It's going to be a lot of fun, and the portal's going to open soon. It sounds like he plans to really attack that both ways. And we'll see. Like, I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah, just like reading like the tweets and like the message board reports, and it's like it already seems like he has a blueprint for this transfer portal, like ready to just absolutely hit the ground running when it does open here. And it is nice too that you make this hire not just to get him before anyone else can, but 25 days, I believe it is, until signing day. Like, look, that's not a world of time, but all things considered, like that is a good chunk of time to salvage whatever you can in this recruiting class and just do whatever you can before early signing day. We're going to get more into that later this week with Brian Smith. He's our lockdown recruiting expert. It's like a love-hate relationship. Most people love him, but sometimes he says the brutal truth. But that's what I like about Brian, is that he's going to give us the truth about what to expect for recruiting here. 100% going to talk to him later this week. I love talking to Brian, so stay tuned to that show as well. But yeah, just looking forward to this press conference. This is so exciting. God, instead of just week after week of just, okay, well, what are we going to talk about after a fifth loss in a row? Great. Everyone's dying on the field, basically. Our coaching staff can't coach. Like, this is selfishly, Brett, to make this all about myself here. This is going to be fun to actually talk about optimistic things for once in the last like 2 or 3 months here. God, I love it here again. This is great, man. We're back, Brett. We're back, Chief. Woo-hoo.
We are, and it's funny. Like I look back from a year ago. Obviously, you lose the game to Indiana, you lose to Penn State, and you don't make a bowl game, and everyone's like, we were excited for the offseason. It's like, okay, we're gonna make some changes here. We're gonna recruit well, and neither happened. And then you lose BT Jordan, you lose all these people, and it's like, it's just been a long year. Obviously, we talk about the 3-month coaching search, but it's been going on for, it seems like, a year.
I mean, check out this hairline. Are you seeing this? You see how much sheen is on the camera right now? Like, I'm blinding people right now. This is because of Michigan State football right here. This is in the last 12 months of Michigan State football. It was always a bad hairline going back to high school, but it is scaled back completely because of the last few months here. But we'll see if we can get some of it back here in this offseason. But it's just, we're happy again, Brett. We're happy. Again, could this all fail? Yeah, sure it could. But look, you got the best guy available for all the reasons that we named, whether it is position coaching with being a sound quarterbacks coach, whether it is like he did in Corvallis, taking 2 and 3 stars here and building a top tier Pac-12 team. All right, you're going to have better recruiting resources here. You're going to have a better assistant pool here, more opportunities here. Everything is lined up to go the way that we want it. And man, I also think this too, Brett. This is how we'll end it. I may have said this 5 times. This is how we'll end it. So this is our 5th ending topic here. What if it wasn't Smith? What if he said, no, I'm going to stay home in Corvallis? I don't know if Elko, I don't know if it was a loss of interest for him or what, but let's say that it was loss of interest. He makes a lot of money at Duke comparable to what Michigan State would. What if he didn't want to come up here? Okay. What if Lance Leipold wanted to stay at Kansas? And then, oh my God. Hey, Jed Fish, you want to come over here? No, bud, you don't? Oh, okay. Well, Jason Candle, you free to coach next year? What if Smith said no? We could have that conversation right now because we know that that's just hypothetical, but that would have been scary too, Chief, in my opinion. I don't know. That could have been bad.
Yeah, and that's why Haller kind of getting this thing done today, not letting it linger into tomorrow or Monday. And because that kind of gives you the fickle PTSD where it was allegedly done, and then you wake up the next morning, and then I think it was a Pete Thamel tweet from Yahoo, 8 in the morning, saying, no, he's staying. It's like, oh my God.
Right.
Then you have to circle back and you're looking at some of the options. It's it seems like Elko's pretty set on being at Duke. He's got a good situation there. Then you look at Jed Fish. He's waiting for that UCLA job from all accounts there. Then you still have A&M lingering to go poach anybody. And then you move towards the Jason Candles of the world. And I think the biggest accomplishment of Haller's hiring process, I don't know whether to give it the secrecy because nothing leaked until
no, that was bang off by them. Yeah, right. Very, very un MSU this whole search was. It was great. Don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled, but it's almost unsettling how well it all went. Really, we're capable of this. We can do this. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it'll be fascinating to hear the stories about how this all got done. When did they officially first make contact? When did they meet in person? I hope we get some sort of backstory there. And it's really exciting. So yeah, obviously I'm not on camera, but I'm smiling right now.
Oh, we can hear it. We can hear your smile. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time I've smiled about Michigan State football since probably Caton Houser's first touchdown throw of the year. So
no kidding.
It's been a minute. And one last thing I do want to point out is Alan Haller has not only nailed all of his coaching hires as athletic director. I mean, you look at Adam Nightingale, Leah Johnson, Hosler, the women's soccer coach and whatnot. Yep. You go back and he was huge back in 2006 when we hired Martin D'Antonio. So listen, at a certain point you are what your resume says you are, and he hires winners at coach. So that's kind of the expectation here. In college football, I don't think there are rebuilds anymore. I think it's more you come in and you compete to win. We could also what would our record have been this year if Mel Tucker was still the coach? We probably win 7 games.
You have a higher opinion of him than I do. That's fine though. Hey, let's say it's 7 wins. Yeah, that's fine. I'm looking up 2024 MSU football schedule right now. Sorry, I'm bad at multitasking here, but this is what you have set up to ahead of you. It's the Florida Atlantic at Maryland, Louisiana at Boston College, and then Ohio State is your first month. Ohio State's tough, but man, those first 4 games winnable. At Oregon, okay, yikes. We've talked about that, the Ohio State versus and then the Oregon gauntlet. But then Iowa at Michigan versus Indiana. At Illinois versus Purdue versus Rutgers. I want to reiterate those last 4 games again. Versus Indiana, at Rutgers, home against Purdue, home against Rutgers. The first 4 games, the last 4 games are gettable. Can you go 8-0 through a gauntlet? Sure. I don't necessarily expect it, but man, this should be a bowl team in the first year under Jonathan Smith. I mean, not to throw crazy expectations out there, but with the schedule we have, and we'll see who he's able to retain roster wise. It's there for early success here.
Yeah, and if you get, obviously, I was going to make a bold proclamation about the college football rankings, but I think with Ohio State, Oregon, and Michigan in there, well, it depends what Michigan brings back or if they even have a program by then, but it's a topic. No, I mean, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to win games, and listen, who knows, maybe Michigan State, I think an fair expectation is to be ranked, like, at the end of the next season. Like, top 25, I think is very attainable. I'm not going to predict we're going to make the playoff, win the championship, any of that, but I think appearing in the top 25 at some point is an achievable goal.
Let's go to the Citrus Bowl. Why not? And let's just make it a movie, you know?
Yes.
Why not? Why not? Oh, man. All right. Well, Chief, thank you so much. And everyone watching right now, thank you so much. This is by far our highest viewed live stream, I think, that we've done in Locked On Spartans history, because everyone's happy. This is great. No one should ever be this happy after watching their team get 40-pieced at Ford Field, and then Ryan Day does what he does for a third straight year. But I'm about to skip out of the studio here and just float back upstairs and just it's a beautiful time to be alive. Brett, cannot thank you enough for spending some of your weekend with us here at Locked On Spartans. Same with you, all the viewers, all the listeners. Thank you guys so much for biting off some of your Saturday with us here. But man, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on, Sheehan.
You're the best, Chief. Love you. And I love every single one of you, especially you, Jonathan Smith. I know you're listening. You'll never miss an episode of Locked On Spartans. Until next time, it's going to be a fun week of shows, guys. 5 days a week here coming up like it always is. Love you all. Go green.
Go white.